Our top story tonight, bracing for Barry. The strengthening storm is getting closer to the coast with landfall expected in just a matter of hours.
And floodgates have been closed along the Mississippi River in the area. New Orleans officials saying this is the first time all of the city's floodgates have been sealed.
With a lot of rain on the way, many are fearing flood waters, spending their day piling sandbags to protect their property.
And Barry's impacts being felt right now. This is a live look at the coast as the storm becomes crashing ashore. Local 10 News continues tracking Barry tonight. Your weather authority just getting the newest advisory.
But we begin here in New Orleans, where the impacts are already being felt, Calvin. I can tell you storm surge, rain, and flooding. That is what has a lot of people uneasy in the Big Easy tonight. And also the wind gust. It is very gusty out here. One thing I will tell you that we have noticed is it's empty around New Orleans, and that is a good thing because the mayor said she wanted everybody in place seeking shelter by 8 o'clock. And you know, as we approach the 11 o'clock hour, the streets are nice and quiet. The levees, though, they're closed, so we've had a hard time trying to navigate our way to get you toward the Mississippi River. We've been watching the local forecast, Calvin, and we've been listening to them talk about how flights are canceled, power outages, mandatory evacuations still in place. We've been watching other reporters out on the scenes, and we've been seeing the flooded roadways. The one thing I did hear their meteorologist mention is that the river is not forecasted to reach 19 feet, but I'll let Betty get into that. As far as tonight, everybody heeding those warnings.
It's an eerie feeling. You don't never get comfortable until you know it's over.
Tropical storm Barry getting stronger, expected to make landfall Saturday. Authorities warning residents in Louisiana that this is life-threatening.
We really have to be extremely prepared for a very major rain event across much of Louisiana.
Grand Isle already underwater before the storm even hits. Waves and wind gusts picking up, forcing road closures, and for the first time in history, all of the floodgates are closed. This is why authorities have closed the floodgates. We are just on the other side of Lakeshore Drive. This is Lake Pontchartrain. Check out the conditions of the water. You see the whitecaps, you see the waves just coming up along the boardwalk. But now officials have closed the traffic to cars so they can prevent any more flooding as they continue to track Tropical Storm Barry.
After you saw Katrina, you just got to take it seriously and just protect yourself and the business.
Tropical Storm Barry forcing major events to be canceled. This Sigma Delta Theta sorority forced to cancel their national convention, which only happens every 2 years.
I am concerned for everyone in New Orleans because I'm sure this is, it brings that PTSD, thinking about Katrina.
Some parishes under mandatory evacuations, while in Orleans, they are being urged to shelter in place.
Even though it's not a hurricane, it's a pretty strong storm, as you can see.
The governor is confident the upgraded levees will hold the Mississippi River back, at least in New Orleans.
Our state is better prepared, but that comes with a caveat. You never know what Mother Nature is going to serve until she has served it.
And back out here live tonight, very gusty conditions, not yet raining, but a very quiet New Orleans, which is exactly what everybody wanted to see. Everybody indoors, police patrolling. The storm is expected to hit tomorrow. We'll be out here for it. Calvin.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nicole. Stand by. We're going to check back in with you later in the broadcast here. Let's turn now to our Betty Davis, who is now tracking Barry.
Hi, and the latest on the advisory, maximum sustained wind still showing at 65 miles per hour. It is indeed a slow mover heading toward the west-northwest at 3 miles per hour. And it is forecast to reach hurricane status before that landfall. But the most important thing is that it's still carrying so much deep moisture that's going to be unleashed on areas that are just saturated. And as mentioned, the river's already bulging, the Mississippi River at New Orleans in particular, one area we're concerned about. So here's that projected path. It's going to move ashore in the morning. Notice the intensity forecast does show it coming up to hurricane status, and then it makes its way up through the Mississippi River Valley, wringing out more deep tropical moisture for more areas. Now, I do want to show you this graphic because it does show how that deepest moisture is going to work in just east of that center, gets wrapped around, and that's outside of the cone. So when we say don't pay so much attention to where the center is actually heading, because you can have those impacts outside of the cone, and that deep moisture lining up over areas even beyond Louisiana over toward Mississippi, other areas of the Mississippi River Valley. So we will certainly be keeping an eye on that. The rain band's already rotating in tonight. Again, that rain accumulation forecast, once all is said and done, there will be some areas potentially that get 10 to 20 inches of rain, if not more than that. I'll be back in a few minutes to talk about our forecast right here at home. Our weekend by comparison, so benign. Calvin?
Okay, Betty, thank you. And stay with Local 10 for the latest on Tropical Storm Barry. Tonight, Nicole will continue bringing us live reports from the Big Easy all weekend long. And we have more online as well. Hurricane specialist Brian Norcross is keeping you updated with the latest storm developments right on now on local10.com. Look for that right on the front of our homepage. And we have